Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I just got a haircut. And while I was getting my haircut, the lady told me that they can't get anybody to come to work for them because ever since the government did started writing these checks to everyone, they can't get anybody to come to work. And I keep hearing that left and right. It's pretty disturbing. Okay, let's see here. This is XRP's doing its thing a little bit today. We're at $1.31. It was at $1.32 a minute ago. Now we need to check in since it's Friday with the. In fact, I was messaging with the official cool guy earlier, and I said, "Where's my cool video for Friday?" So he hooked me up, and here we go. Here's a Friday video.
Differentiation between store of value and utility. Listen to this. Australia, Malaysia, Singapore, and South Africa are starting to test cross-border transactions together. That has Ripple written all over it. Some of y'all are asking, XRP can't be $1 trillion or more in market cap. Why not? I'm not talking about a store of value. I'm talking about when central banks and countries and big companies and governments pool their money into XRP. They have to own it in order to interact with the new financial system for these cross-border payments. All the money flowing through it at all times. They're not in it to sell it. They're in it because they need it. That's why I stress ISO 20022 compliant tokens so much, because the banks are going to need it in order to interact with the new financial system. Once the phase one goes in, there's going to be a price floor. That money's never exiting. That's how you get high market caps, when all the money is flowing all day.
I love how we have all these smart people in XRP crypto land, and it's nice because you can pool together all these brains, and then on top of that, the cherry on top, to have somebody that's smart and also is cool, a lot cooler than I would be walking down that street. You can't beat that. All right, here we go. Check out BitBoy from today, BitBoy Crypto. Here he goes.
Ben, what are you looking at for the short term? $4 by the end of the month. $4 by the end of the month. Chat, are you hearing this? Are you hearing this? We are going to end on that note. Whoa, $4. I know XRP Army, you're getting excited. You're getting frothy. The mania is here, baby. We loving it. All right.
We're going to hear that one more time.
What are you looking at for the short term? $4 by the end of the month. $4 by the end of the month. Chat, are you hearing this? Are you hearing this? We are going to end on that note. Whoa, $4. I know.
We're at September 3rd, folks. $4 by the end of the month. And remember, the Flare people dropped a tweet a couple of days ago basically saying it's on like Donkey Kong. So they said my understanding is they're finished with checking with all the exchanges. Things might start to get really interesting. What if all of this, what if we got the flare drop and we got a settlement in the same month? I'm going to almost be sad when this lawsuit goes away, because anytime it's so obvious that people aren't being straightforward and telling the truth, and you're able to point that out, when everybody seems to be getting together to try to not tell the truth like the Wall Street media is doing, I enjoy myself because I'm so disgusted by it for my country's sake and for my children's sake that I almost get a pleasure out of it, to be honest. Now, just like speaking of pleasure, I decided to put out a missing milk carton for Bill Hinman's public calendar. We've seen Jay Clayton's public calendar, but Bill Hinman's public calendar is still missing. Now let me see something. I thought I saw this right here. I wanted to show you this. This person replied to me. Bill Hinman's calendar is sealed. So here's a guy who's on the public dole, is my understanding. He was being paid by the taxpayer and probably I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming he probably gets taxpayer health insurance for life, probably from the freaking thing. And this guy, we're not supposed to be able to see what he was doing while he was being paid by the public, by the taxpayers? Are you freaking kidding me? What has happened to our country? I am sickened and disgusted by all of this. So, speaking of disgusted, where's the recording of Bill Hinman at the Tech GC conference? Here he is. This is the one that Ripple asked for in the deposition. And then, speaking of disgusted, I had a simple question here, and then I'll let you listen to Joseph Lubin in his own words. He's the co-founder of Ethereum. Let me see if I have this straight. This is me talking. Proof of work, Ethereum 1.0, was declared a non-security, and now there's a team working on proof of stake, Ethereum 2.0. These two separate systems will run parallel. Those are his words. SEC, is Ethereum 1.0 a security? What about Ethereum 2.0? I need some clarity. Listen to what he says.
So that's the heartbeat of the system. That's the beacon chain. That's the proof of stake system. It will run in parallel to Ethereum 1.0, which is a proof of work system. We can talk about that.
Yes. So now we have two separate. No, so they get an Ethereum free pass on Ethereum proof of work, Ethereum 1.0. So now they're going to be allowed to come out with Ethereum 2.0, which he says is a separate system, and that is not going to be under regulatory scrutiny by the SEC. What in the hell is going on? Gary Gensler, what is going on? This is pure dishonesty. This is not the country I grew up in. Not this. When none of you are held accountable by anybody. CNBC, CNN, Fox News, Julia Chatterley, Mario Bartiromo, Jim Cramer. I mean, that's embarrassing to even ask you. Andrew Ross Sorkin, it's embarrassing to even ask you. Where are you people? Why aren't you asking these questions? These are common sense, basic questions, in fairness, to ask about this digital asset industry. This is shameful what's going on. And we're going to be here to keep talking about it. And guess what? And here's a dirty little secret for you at CNN, CNBC, Fox Business, all of you Wall Street media who don't want to tell your audience the truth about things and you want to suppress the truth. Now, let me tell you a dirty little secret. Your viewership will explode if you will tell the freaking truth. My viewership is going up because I'm telling the truth about this. Your viewership will go up if you will just tell the freaking truth and tell people in this country and probably around the world at this point are sick and freaking tired of watching their media and saying to themselves, I'm not being told the truth. This is not true. And having to search out social media to be told the freaking truth. And you people are complicit. That's the word. You're complicit. You ought to not just be ashamed of yourself. You ought to have your media credentials pulled. You ought not be allowed to put yourself out as media when you don't even tell the truth about what's going on. This is the truth. This right here is the truth. Hester Pierce is telling the truth. And this should be played 1,000 times.
Well, one area where the chair and I think don't see eye to eye is the lack of clarity around when something is or is not a security and what actually is the security at issue when we're talking about these token offerings. So I do think that we could provide some more clarity in that space. I think we could provide more clarity around custody of digital assets by broker-dealers, investment advisors, and others in our space. And just more generally, we could provide clarity around how these traditional entities can interact with digital assets in a way that's compliant with the existing regulatory structure.
And I want to reiterate the point, folks. The timing of this is not a coincidence. Pay attention. When's the last time you publicly threw your boss under the bus over a topic at the center of the case of the century? I don't imagine most of you would do that, okay? She literally threw her boss overboard right in the middle of the case of the century. This is the financial news story of the century. And there's only about 10% of social media / any media that's talking about this and telling the truth about it. And then, so what I did is just for fun, I said, not sure why, but Hester Pierce separating herself from her boss yesterday, of all times, reminded me of this video from the other day for some reason, so I just combined them. So the video you just watched, I added on to the end of this, but I'm just going to play you the very beginning of BitBoy's video I played the other day, just to remind you. If I can hit a refresh button, we can get this done.
Once this happens, this is the bombshell that will end the case. When they find out that the commissioners of the SEC or employees of the SEC have been trading XRP during this time, everything will go out the window. Because then you know what it does? Then it puts them at risk. And they're not going to be willing to do that. That's why this case...
If you have to wonder if Hester Pierce is separating herself from all this for a reason. To maybe maintain her integrity. Maybe that's it. Then John Deaton tweeted this out. He tweeted the same video and he said, "We've learned that Hinman sent Clayton a draft of the speech, but he didn't send it to the other 4 commissioners. He didn't seek input from crypto mom herself, Hester Pierce. Did he receive input from Ethereum, from Joseph Lubin?" I don't know where he's coming from on that question, but I'm interested in where he's coming from on that question. Who provided Hinman with his knowledge of the Ether network? Great question. And I sent this out to the Wall Street media. Hey, Wall Street media, I can't promise, but I think there's still time for you not to look like a bunch of jackasses on this. And I thought it was needed to be said here. Then John Deaton also put this out. Maybe, just maybe, the rest of the crypto industry will realize what XRP holders have been saying since December 22nd, 2020, which is when they dropped the lawsuit, when Jay Clayton dropped the lawsuit and then quit his job, that is. The SEC and Gary Gensler is coming after your crypto, and even if you hate Ripple or XRP, you better pray the SEC loses. And I think he's right. I think they are. I think that they're coming after. I think they wanted Ethereum to get across the finish line. And I have some theories on that. I'll tell you one of my theories. It's just a theory, because I asked the question online. Think about this for a minute. Let's say Ethereum had been declared a security. I asked, and John Deaton actually replied in my thread that I had put up, that what the question I asked is, if it had been declared a security and there was anybody that they could prove who was getting inside information and trading on it in Ethereum, would they be susceptible to prosecution? And the answer he gave is a big fat yes. I won't name any names, but think about the people out there, the people who you've heard are very close to the situation that might be susceptible to that. Think about that one for a minute. Then think about this. This is from Jungle Inc. He tweeted this out. This is when Elizabeth Warren was talking to Jay Clayton, I think in his confirmation hearing to be the SEC commissioner.
Mr. Clayton, have you had any conversations or other communications with Mr. Icahn since the election on November 8th?
The news reports that Carl Icahn had. I don't know. I have no knowledge.
I just asked.
No, but I'm
Fair
getting
enough.
to you. After my nomination was announced, I had a bit of heads up that it was going to be announced. But after it was announced, I got a call to ask me to meet with Carl Icahn, and I met with him.
So you met, Mr. Clayton, have you?
So when I saw that, something immediately popped in my head. First of all, Let's see. Let's do a little refresh on this. So the first thing I did is I went to Google and typed in his name and that word right there, and this is what came up. And next, this is Chris Larson. He did a podcast. I don't know if this is from his podcast or what, but I was listening to a podcast he did yesterday. I played some of that. Listen to this.
Look, I think more and more people, especially the younger folks, are going to be looking at climate and getting a war footing. There's no time to spare. So you go after the people backing these things. They start backing off. You got to get Tesla to divest. Probably the only way is threaten their zero emission credits, which is they have to be ineligible for zero emission credits if they have dirty crypto in their supply chain. I think that would probably wake up Elon on this. And look, I love Elon. He's done more for climate than almost anybody. But his Bitcoin investment is just strange, very strange, and not within keeping with his core values of Tesla as I understand them. So, but I tell you, if they start backing away, then look, Ethereum probably starts overtaking Bitcoin. And that's the kind of thing that I think wakes up those 20 or 30 people and say, look, if we don't make this change, we're going to fall behind. And I think that's what it's going to take.
Wow. Okay. And then finally, John Deaton had tweeted this today, and I did not know this. In the Hinman deposition, it is mentioned that attorney Brian Rabbit was present at a meeting between Hinman and Clayton and Brad Garlinghouse and Joel Katz. Attorney Rabbit was senior policy advisor to Chairman Clayton at the time. Meet Brian Rabbit. Attorney Rabbit was at this meeting wherein Brad Garlinghouse informed Clayton that Ripple was living in a purgatory because of the lack of clarity regarding whether XRP is or is not a security. Of course, Clayton never responded back to Garlinghouse that XRP is a security. The only thing more ridiculous than the SEC claiming today's XRP is a security is the SEC's argument that the Hinman speech was only his personal opinion and not meant to be guidance by the SEC. The AI found Brian Jackson discussing the Hinman speech. I thought I would look up this Brian Rabbit, since he was a senior advisor to Clayton and met with David Schwartz and Brad Garlinghouse. What does Attorney Rabbit say about how the SEC provides guidance to market participants through speeches? And listen to this.
Mentioning the agency also speaks pretty clearly through speeches and through guidance to the industry. And I think that's a big part of what Chairman Gensler was doing in his recent remarks. He was mentioning.
How about them apples? Now, when I saw this, I said, well, I'll go type in this Brian Rabbit, and then I'll type in Jay Clayton, and I'll type in Ripple just to see what comes up. And here's what came up. Saw your tweet about Brian Rabbit. Did a little search. You may find this interesting. The same guy who was whispering in Jay Clayton's ears as his advisor when Brad Garlinghouse and David Schwartz met with him, put this out on October 20th of 2020 to the Attorney General of the United States with other people. And here it is. So 2 months before Jay Clayton drops the lawsuit, the guy who was advising Jay Clayton on all of this puts this out to the U.S. Department of Justice Attorney General. Here it is. Cryptocurrency Enforcement Framework. See, October 2020, U.S. Department of Justice. There he is. He's now the Assistant Attorney General, Acting Criminal Division. Okay, he's with all these other people. And then you go down here. This is part of what was in his report, is a reference to the FinCEN settlement that Ripple had for XRP, in which case it was called a virtual currency, designated a virtual currency by FinCEN. The company also operated a virtual currency known as XRP. So this guy, this shows you this guy knows, okay? All right, and that's the actual document right there. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that if BitBoy is right about $4 by the end of the month, it is on like Donkey Kong. Thank you for listening.